All right, let's just dive right in. Take a look at this number, $69,000. If your household makes that amount or less a year, you are likely sitting on a ticket to completely free expert tax preparation. I mean, think about that for a second. If you're under that income threshold, the days of stressing out over crazy expensive tax prep fees, they could be entirely behind you.
Seriously, why are you paying unnecessary tax preparation fees? Look, we all know tax season is pretty much universally dreaded, right? It's stressful, we're gathering up mountains of paperwork, constantly worrying we're going to make some incredibly costly mistake, and then on top of all that anxiety, we often hand over hundreds of dollars to a pro just to get it over with. But honestly, why pay out of pocket when a trusted, highly certified, and literally free solution is sitting right there in your community? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unlock this incredible resource that honestly flies completely under the radar for way too many people. We are breaking down exactly how you can get free, totally reliable tax assistance through a program called VITA. Our goal today is super simple. We want to help you keep a whole lot more of your hard-earned money right where it belongs, in your pocket. Here's the roadmap for today's Explainer. First, we'll meet the VITA program. Then we'll see who qualifies for free help. After that, we'll cover finding your local VITA site, what to bring and expect, the massive community impact it's having, and finally, some essential tips and a quick disclaimer. Let's get to it. So, Section 1. Meet the VITA program, your trusted tax solution. VITA actually stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. This is basically a cornerstone public-private program managed by the IRS. And get this, it's been running for over 50 years. VITA provides completely free basic income tax return preparation and e-filing. And hey, I should also mention its sister program really quick, TCE, which stands for Tax Counseling for the Elderly. While VITA is heavily focused on low to moderate income households, TCE steps in to provide specialized free help for folks who are 60 and older, specifically handling questions about pensions and retirement stuff. Both are just phenomenal, long-standing resources. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, if it's free and run by volunteers, is it actually accurate? Well, the answer is a massive, resounding yes. These programs are incredibly reliable. Why? Because every single VITA and TCE volunteer who prepares returns has to take and pass this really rigorous tax law training. And it's not just any training, it meets or exceeds IRS standards. This ensures absolute accuracy and guarantees strict privacy and confidentiality for all your information. You are in expert hands, for sure. Moving on to Section 2, who qualifies for free help? Checking your eligibility. Let's look at exactly who these programs are designed for so you can figure out if you fit the bill. The eligibility rules are actually super straightforward. Basically, you qualify for VITA if your annual household income is $69,000 or less. But wait, that's not the only way in. The program is also specifically built to help persons with disabilities as well as taxpayers who have limited English-speaking skills. And like we touched on a second ago, if you're 60 or older, that TCE program is tailor-made for you. TCE doesn't even have a strict upper income limit, though they do generally focus on low to moderate incomes. Now, VITA does have some strict boundaries when it comes to how complex your taxes are. Take a look at the in-scope column over on the left. VITA can easily knock out basic W-2 wages, standard retirement distributions, unemployment, and simple interest or education forms like 1098s. No problem. But glance over at the right side. If you've got rental property income, a farm, complicated capital gains, or you're trading crypto, yeah, that's out of scope. Same deal if you're self-employed with a business loss, you have employees, or you need to claim depreciation. For those heavier, more complex situations, you're absolutely going to need to track down a paid tax professional. All right, Section 3, finding your local VITA site. Where to go? Assuming your tax situation is in scope, here's exactly how you can track down a free clinic right in your own backyard. You actually have a bunch of super easy ways to find a site. The main way is just to hop online and use the IRS VITA locator tool. They update it constantly from February right through April. Not a computer person? No worries, you can just call the IRS toll-free helpline at 800-906-9887. If you're looking for the TCE program, AARP has a great site locator tool online, or you can call them at 888-227-7669. Also, in a lot of areas, literally just dialing 211 on your phone will connect you straight to a local referral line so you can book an appointment. Super easy. Which brings us to Section 4, what to bring and expect, preparing for success. Look, I really cannot emphasize this enough. Getting organized before you walk out the door is literally the key to a stress-free appointment. Okay, first things first, you gotta pack your ID. VITA sites are incredibly strict about ID verification, which is a good thing because it protects you against identity theft. You absolutely need a government-issued photo ID for yourself and for your spouse if you're filing jointly, and this is huge. You must bring the actual physical Social Security cards or ITIN letters for every single person going on that return. Don't forget the exact birth dates for everyone on the return, too. You'd be surprised how often people slip up on that one. Next up, let's just mentally break your paperwork into two separate buckets: income and health documents. For income, grab all your wage and earning statements. We're talking every W-2 and all 1099 forms from every single employer, bank, or retirement account you had that year. On the health and other side, bring any Affordable Care Act 1095 forms. Oh, and if you pay for daycare, you need your child care provider's exact name, address, and their specific tax ID number. Also, pro tip here, it is always incredibly helpful to bring a copy of your federal and state returns from last year just to give them a baseline. Actually, the Taxpayer Advocate Service puts out this really comprehensive checklist to make sure nothing slips through the cracks. Gathering every single thing on this list guarantees the volunteers have the full financial picture. And why does that matter? Because when these highly trained volunteers have all your documents, they can dig in and accurately determine if you're eligible for special financial boosts, like the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Child Tax Credit. Basically, having your paperwork together means maximizing your ultimate refund. So let's demystify what actually happens when you walk through the doors of one of these clinics. It's a highly structured 4-step process. Step 1, volunteers do that mandatory ID and document verification we just talked about. Step 2, they sit down with you for a really thorough intake interview just to understand your specific life and tax situation. Step 3, an IRS-certified volunteer prepares the actual return. And step 4, and honestly this is the most crucial part for quality control, a completely different certified volunteer does a final quality review check of your return before they hit send and electronically file it. It is a fantastic system of checks and balances. Section 5, the massive community impact. Real results. Let's zoom out a bit and see how all this effort builds up into something truly mind-blowing. I want you to look at this number, over $2 million. In the 2026 tax season, in just one single area, Frederick County, Maryland, the local VITA program returned a staggering $2,001,125 to vulnerable households. That's a combination of accurate tax refunds and saved preparation fees. Nationally, we're talking tens of thousands of dedicated volunteers preparing millions of returns every single year. So this isn't just about filing boring paperwork. It's about life-changing financial impact. It's literally pumping millions of dollars directly back into local communities where people need it the most. Which brings us to Section 6, Essential Tips and Disclaimer, Final Takeaways. We are going to wrap this explainer up with a couple of crucial pro tips and outline some quick professional boundaries. All right, pro tip number 1, and honestly, it's a huge one. Bring a blank check, or at least have your bank's routing and account numbers written down. Why? Because VITA sites offer free e-filing, and if you pair that e-file with a direct deposit into your bank account, it is hands down the fastest way to get your money. Taxpayers who combine e-file and direct deposit usually see their refund hit their account in about 21 days. It's a no-brainer. Pro tip number 2. Now, this is a super common stumbling block that unfortunately forces a lot of people to reschedule their appointments. If you're married and planning on filing a joint tax return, both spouses absolutely must be physically present at the VITA site to sign the required tax forms. You literally cannot sign for your spouse. So just make sure you coordinate and plan your appointment time so you can both be there. Finally, just a quick but super important disclaimer regarding the rules of the program. VITA and TCE provide basic tax assistance. We're just explaining the parameters of these awesome community programs exactly as they're structured by the IRS. So if you've got really complex financial circumstances, maybe you run a complicated small business, or you have that out-of-scope income we discussed earlier, please do yourself a favor and consult a paid tax professional or certified accountant. You really need someone who can give you specialized advice tailored perfectly to your situation. And that brings us to our final question today. Seriously, why pay for tax prep when you can keep your hard-earned money and get expert help totally for free? VITA and TCE are just phenomenal community resources. They're designed specifically to support you, make sure your taxes are filed perfectly, and help you claim every single credit you legally deserve. If you meet the qualifications we covered today, I highly encourage you to take action. Go use those locator tools and maximize your financial well-being this tax season. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.